The use of pronouns can reveal a lot about your personality. Can tell you a little bit whether the person is lying, how egocentric they are, and so forth. A lot of people ask, well, in pronouns, women tend to use more of the word, let's say, we, and men tend to use more of the word I. Now watch these two video clips I'm going to show you using pronouns, and tell me which, the first or the second story, makes you feel more empathetic.
All right, so when I became an FBI, when I was an FBI agent and wanted to be a hostage negotiator, I knew that in order to be a hostage negotiator, you had to go down to Quantico. And I wasn't really enthusiastic about going down to Quantico for 2 weeks, let alone going down there at all, because Quantico's a boring place. It's so boring, they got a bar there to keep you entertained. But once I got down there, I found myself in the middle of hostage negotiators from around not just around across the country, but around the world. And I was suddenly a member of an international negotiation community that saved lives. And then while I was there, I started hearing about these men and women that flew all over the world working kidnappings, and I found out these people were on the SINT team within the hostage negotiators of the FBI. And by the time the training was over, I knew I wanted to be a member of the SINT team. Now I'll tell you the same story. When you're an FBI agent and you want to become a hostage negotiator, you find out that you got to go down to Quantico for 2 weeks, and you're not particularly enthusiastic about being down there because Quantico's a boring place. It's so boring they got a bar, and you don't want to be there over the weekend. But you get down there and suddenly find yourself in the middle of hostage negotiators, not just from across the country, but from around the world. And then you start hearing about these men and women with the FBI who work international kidnapping, and you find out that they're members of the SINT team, and they fly all over the world to save lives. And by the time the training is over, you know you want to be a member of the SINT team. Now, I told you the exact same story twice and only changed out one word. And they felt different.
According to research at Harvard by James Pennebaker, after studying tens of thousands of words, they discovered that liars tend to use certain words and certain pronouns to distance themselves from the lie. And this was repeatedly discovered after analyzing transcripts from courts where people were known to be lying. You definitely should use the pronoun we. Because when we use we, we're including the people in our activity or task or project. So as a good leader, it's always good to speak in terms of we will do this, we will do that, we will achieve this together. It's critical. It's also good emotional intelligence. Chris Voss, who's a ex-FBI agent, teaches negotiation skills, talks about the importance of pronoun usage in negotiating, in fact. So that you might say, well, how can we achieve that? After somebody makes a request, so the counterparty says, gives you a counteroffer, and you might say, well, how am I supposed to do that? Or how are we supposed to achieve this? How are we to accomplish this? You understand, it gives it just a different angle, different spin, and it affects the subconscious mind of how people interpret the message. Even though more or less it's the same to a degree, the feeling is different. And since human beings are feeling creatures and we make our decisions based on feeling and not so much logic, it's really, really critical to keep this element in mind.